Next up, I believe we have Representative Casimiro on the line. If you can put all three of your bills, 5112, 5118, 5119, into play, and then we can bring up the witnesses and everything like that. Representative Casimiro.
Thank you, Vice Chair Malzahowski. It's so nice to see you. I feel like I'm not seeing any of my colleagues anymore because of the VMA, but it's so nice to be here in front of Finance again tonight. The first bill I'm going to put into play is 5111. It supports the Rhode Island Civil Air Patrol, and I don't know how many of you are understand what the Rhode Island Civil Air Patrol does, but they are a congressionally chartered official auxiliary of the United States Air Force. They perform emergency and rescue tactics by air and ground in the state whenever we have an emergency situation. They provide services to young people in aerospace education. They have a cadet program for teenage youth. I do have an expert witness lined up to talk about this bill, and that would be Colonel Stranahan. And basically, this bill would be looking to get financial support from the state when the Civil Air Patrol is deployed in states of emergencies or search and rescue missions. I think it's a really great bill, but Colonel Stranahan will obviously be the expert witness on this. House Bill 5118 comes to you for the 5th year in a row. It is called the Marine Task Force Bill, and it basically gives minimal financial relief to those municipalities who are protecting Narragansett Bay, our greatest natural resource. All of our communities in Rhode Island enjoy Narragansett Bay. Only a handful of communities are tasked with protecting the bay with fire and rescue boats. This would give a small amount of money, it's $132,000 a year, hopefully coming from the DEM budget, that will help relieve some of the expenses to these communities who are protecting Narragansett Bay. And I know Representative Quattrochi is going to ask me the same question he asks me every year. And it's like, why should he be supporting this? Because his constituents enjoy Narragansett Bay. My municipality protects it. Chief Scott Patel is going to be my expert witness on this. The State Firefighters Association and the Fire Chiefs Association also support this bill. The last bill I have is Bill 5119. That's for the town of Exeter, and it would address General Assembly appropriations in lieu of property taxes for state-owned properties within the town of Exeter, and would set aside such payments in order to establish municipal police departments in any community that does not have such a service, and that would be the town of Exeter. In the town of Exeter, or from the town of Exeter, I have Dan Patterson, town council president, and Frank Maha from the town council, all prepared to testify on these bills. Does anybody have any questions?
Any questions for Representative Casimiro? No questions? All right, awesome. So we can open it up to your witnesses. We have a bunch of them all queued up. So first witness, if you can introduce yourself and say what bill you're speaking on, and then have a brief summary of your position. All right, hello. Just introduce yourself and then start talking about what bill you're here to advocate for.
Okay, I'm Carl Will Stranahan. I'm the commander for Civil Air Patrol here in Rhode Island. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen of the House Finance Committee. Thank you for allowing me to testify on behalf of the Civil Air Patrol Act. I'd like to start with a brief snapshot of who we are and what we're doing in Rhode Island. Civil Air Patrol is a federally chartered nonprofit and auxiliary of the United States Air Force. We are chartered by Congress to perform 3 main missions: aerospace education, which serves both an internal mission with our cadet and adult volunteers, and an external mission with the general aviation and aerospace community. Cadet programs, which consists of youth members ages 12 to 20, where we are helping to shape the future leaders of America, helping them develop critical skills to prepare them to enter the workforce upon graduation from our program. And emergency services, where we perform missions with both our adult members and our cadet members in the areas of search and rescue, homeland security, disaster relief, aerial photography, vital transport missions, etc. This is done from both the air and the ground. The Rhode Island wing of the Civil Air Patrol has a wing headquarters currently located at Quonset. In addition, we also have 5 local squadrons located in Westerly, West Warwick, Pawtucket, North Smithfield, and Warren. So we really are located throughout the state. Our volunteers are serving our community, state, and nation on a daily basis. Recently, our national finance team valued the Rhode Island Wing's volunteer service hours at over $5.5 million, a huge savings to the citizens that we serve. In addition, our assets provide an enormous savings compared to others in the same field. For example, it costs CAP approximately $165 an hour for us to fly a CAP aircraft on a mission. A military helicopter flying the same mission costs a little over $9,000 an hour, and a C-130 costs a little over $15,000 an hour. CAP truly is the most effective cost way to carry out some of our critical missions that we face here in Rhode Island. This bill would codify our relationship with the state of Rhode Island, make CAP more accessible to the use of state agencies and our citizens, help us advance our capabilities, and make critical equipment upgrades to ensure that we are able to serve Rhode Islanders the best way possible. We have estimated that the financial impact in state aid to Civil Air Patrol would be approximately $150,000 annually. In addition, this would help our low-income families, including our cadets serving in our cadet program, to have easier access to the many wonderful opportunities that Civil Air Patrol offers, setting them up for future success in the workforce. The Civil Air Patrol Act will provide means for us to better serve the citizens of Rhode Island and to protect those who volunteer their time during critical emergency services missions. I thank you for your time, and I ask for your support on this bill. I'm available if you have any questions.
Great, thank you, Colonel. Any questions? Nope. So you're all set, and that concludes the hearing on 5-1.
One thing I just wanted to point out really quick on page 2. Looks like line 11. It says equip itself, and it's 11 unpaid personnel. We have a lot more than 11. So maybe we just want to take that number out.
Okay, thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
That concludes the hearing on 5111. We do have written testimony from Steve Brown from the ACLU. That looks like it's informative. He does not take a position on this. Next up, I believe we have Scott Teakettle for 5118. Okay, Scott, you're on with House Finance.
Brown from
Yes, sir.
ACLU. That looks like it's informative.
If you could possibly turn your volume down on your TV, there's a little bit of feedback.
As soon as you're ready, I'll mute. All right, I'm muted.
Go right ahead.
Good afternoon, members of the House Finance Committee. My name is Scott Patel. I'm the Fire Chief of the town of North Kingstown and the Vice President of the Rhode Island Association of Fire Chiefs. I come today speaking in favor of House Bill 5118. The Narragansett Bay Marine Task Force, created in 2012, is made up of 18 fire rescue departments with jurisdiction along the bay. These department vessels have few different capabilities, some with firefighting pumps, others with rescue abilities, yet the largest, most modern and advanced vessels have what we call CBRN, which is chemical, biological, radiological, nuclear, and explosive compliance. This compliance is a level of equipment, training, and protection set forth by the National Fire Protection Association as well as the United States Coast Guard. In essence, if a vessel comes into our waters that is carrying items listed in that acronym, whether legally or not, CBRN compliant vessels will be responding and acting as emergency response authority on the water. In the past 4 years, emergency responses on the water in Narragansett Bay have doubled from 77 calls in 2017 to 149 this past year. The need for a coordinated response cannot be overstated. As I have testified before you in past years, on the water, there are no street signs or intersections to describe location. People calling in marine emergencies typically are on shore or on the water and each person's perspective of where the incident actually comes from and where they are located and what direction they are facing. Calls the actual location into question. With this said, the communities along the bay who respond to these emergencies face challenges. When a person calls 911 to report a marine emergency, the call goes to the United States Coast Guard at Woods Hole and to the Cranston Fire Department. Cranston is a regional dispatch center called Metro Control, and upon receiving the call, the Cranston dispatcher looks up on a map with prescribed districts outlined, and they notify the assets closest to that emergency. Due to a number of factors, anywhere from 4 to 6 vessels are dispatched to respond from surrounding departments. With over 38,836 vessels registered in Rhode Island, whether pleasure craft or commercial vessels, as the ocean state, we live up to our name. We have a number of passenger ferries carrying hundreds of people on a regular basis across our waters. We have mammoth ships carrying liquefied natural gas up the bay to the Port of Providence, as well as automobile transport ships carrying cars to the Port of Davisville multiple trips every week. I'm not sure if you're aware, the Port of Davisville is slated to become a laydown area for the upcoming wind farms being constructed off the Rhode Island shores. The U.S. Coast Guard no longer is in the firefighting business. They expect local communities to respond and handle these types of emergencies. This legislation would provide some financial relief to these communities who spend a significant amount of money annually on maintenance, fuel, and training for emergencies that occur across unmarked jurisdictional borders on the water. We are certainly prepared to support one another, but this bill would soften the impact upon us. That is my testimony. I thank you for indulging and giving me the opportunity. I will answer any questions any members have.
Thank you very much. Any questions for the chief? Rep. Casimiro.
Vice Chair, I just want to, I'm sorry, Chairwoman Ruggiero, but I just want to add that this is a minimal impact financially to the state. It would have a major impact to our communities who are protecting our greatest natural resource. So I just want to thank Fire Chief Patel for coming out again for the 5th year, I believe, in testifying on this bill. So I just wanted to say thank you.
All right, great. And it looks like Rep. Ruggiero is online.
Yes, I am. Thank you, Vice Chair. I appreciate this bill and strong support. You know, Jamestown operates an emergency marine response and has done so since 1968. Also, Middletown participates, and I couldn't agree with the chief more. You know, a coordinated response is so critical on the water, and it does involve 16 communities, and these are our first responders. I agree it will have a major impact to help these communities of first responders, and it is $132,000 a year. So I'm in strong support of this bill, and I really appreciate Rep. Casimiro putting it forth and being persistent 5 years in a row. Thank you very much.
Great. Thank you, Rep., for your testimony. All right. No other questions for anybody over there? All right. So next up, we have another folks, I think the town council folks possibly online. You don't have anybody? No. So that would conclude the hearing on the 5118. Next up is 5119. And then Julie already, Representative Casimiro already brought that into play. And then I know that we have written testimony from Lynn Hawkins in support. And then Representative Casimiro alluded to a couple of town council folks that might want to come and testify, but I don't know if they are on the line. Looks like they are not on the line, but they can submit written testimony and we'll post it online at a later date. All right,
Thank
so
you, Chair. Thank you, Vice Chair.
you got it. That would conclude the hearing on 5119.